Hi, I'm Wade Millward, and today I'm catching up with CRN senior editor Dylan Martin on CRN In Depth, where we cover a big story happening now with the reporter who covered the news. Dylan, we're talking today about CES, the biggest consumer technology event of the year. What do solution providers need to know?
We actually saw a lot of new CPUs being announced by Intel and AMD at CES for commercial PCs, laptops and desktops. I would say what's most noteworthy is Intel's Core Ultra 200V processors. Those are the ones that are going to be able to run Copilot Plus PCs once Copilot Plus becomes available for x86 based processors like Intel's. And so they announced that they're going to have over 30 commercial laptop designs, that is from over 10 OEMs, just the ones you would come to expect like Dell, Lenovo, HP, and others. And I would say, Intel also announced a lot of other Core Ultra 200 series processors for other form factors and price points. So you will see other chips from that series going into thin and light laptops and more heavy duty laptops that are more geared for high performance, and also desktops. But those actually won't be able to run Copilot Plus PC features in the future because they don't have a powerful enough neural processing unit. So there is a bit of a fragmentation for now, but I think that will change over the next few years as the capabilities kind of become level across all of their lineups. AMD also announced new Copilot Plus PC compliant processors. We're seeing new Ryzen AI Pro 300 processors for mid-range commercial laptops. Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, those will be able to run Copilot Plus PCs. And AMD also announced a new kind of processor called the Ryzen AI Max processor. And this seems to be kind of in line with what Apple has done with its own processors, which is, you have the M3, but you also get the M3 Max if you want like really high performance. And so what AMD has done with the Ryzen AI Max processors is it has a significantly higher graphics performance, but they're not just using that for graphical purposes. They're also using that for AI, in the same way that, NVIDIA GPUs are used for AI. The other big chip news was AMD announcing that it won the first commercial PC deal with Dell. Dell had traditionally been a holdout for AMD Ryzen processors when it came to its commercial PCs. So Dell was just selling Intel based for the longest time. Dell was expanding with AMD in other areas like servers and workstations. But this was a big deal for AMD to win this commercial PC deal with Dell, especially because of the refresh cycle that we expect to happen this year with Windows 10 end of life.
Yeah, hey, you predicted my next question, Dylan. What is all this news you're talking about? How does that gel with, I know solution providers and vendors alike are really hoping for this refresh cycle. So tell me what you're thinking about.
Yeah, so obviously, we have a lot of different types of CPUs coming out from Intel and AMD for commercial PCs. So that's we're definitely going to see a good number of those in systems that businesses will be buying this year. I think there's definitely going to be a question of what level of AI capability do you want in those PCs? And I think that's the question that a lot of businesses will be facing, and solution providers will need to address. Intel as well as AMD have processors with different performance levels for the neural processing unit, for instance, but also the GPU, which can be used for AI purposes. And so I think there was going to have to be some thinking on, if you get the lower end of the AI capabilities from an Intel processor or an AMD processor, is that going to be good enough for the next 3 years? Or do you want to get something that's higher end? Obviously budgets play a huge role in this. And I will say that, I've heard from vendors, but also analysts saying that, even the lower end AI PC offerings from Intel and AMD will still be able to run some applications, but you're not going to get the Copilot Plus PC features that Microsoft is really going to, continue to push this year and expand upon.
Yeah, I will say that I've heard from partners a level of confidence in the capabilities of the new PCs that even for their customers who are the most conservative around AI, that they think they will be able to have that upsell conversation just because of, battery life. I think a lot of buying happened during the peak of the pandemic, and now, people are just ready for a new machine is what I've been hearing a lot of.
We did see HP, Dell, and Lenovo all announce new business PC offerings. Some of these are kind of the higher end options that I was talking about that will be able to run Copilot Plus PC features. But I will say, out of the OEMs, I think the most interesting announcement was that Dell announced that they're revamping their entire lineup of PCs. They're getting rid of all of their brand names that you've come to know, Inspiron, Latitude, XPS, all of those are gone. Now basically all the PCs that you can buy from Dell are going to be called Dell, Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max. And there's, like smaller, there's tiers within each of those lines. But yeah, you're now going to be able to say, dude, you're getting a Dell, and you'll actually be describing the name of the computer.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
NVIDIA actually announced its own PC, except not a Windows PC, not Apple, obviously, but it's called Project Digits. They're calling it an AI supercomputer, just like the massive clusters that they have been selling for the last several years. But this is something that is, very small, and it runs what is essentially a shrunk down version of its Grace Blackwell super chip that is being used in, the most high performance, GPU systems that it's putting out, that, Microsoft Azure is adopting, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud. This AI supercomputer for your desktop is being pitched for AI developers, which is no surprise with NVIDIA. And you can basically use it to prototype, fine-tune, and run inference for AI models. And then you can, send those models elsewhere, cloud or whatever. But they're just kind of imagining this as like a dedicated workstation for AI developers.
That'll do it for this episode of In Depth. Dylan, thank you for joining me. And to read more about PCs, chips, and the channel, be sure to read crn.com.